Hi, this is Ruth Hollenbeck. We're going to cover chapters 11 and 12, and I've got 4 short videos to go through these 2 chapters. So chapter 11 is about topic selection and developing your topic for your persuasive speech. And chapter 12 is about organizing your speech. First, you need to determine an appropriate speech topic. The rhetorical situation refers to the circumstance in which you, the speaker, the audience, and the occasion overlap. So if you look at these 3 circles on the right, you, the occasion, your audience, right here in the middle, that's what we call the rhetorical situation. It's where everything overlaps. Here you need to consider exigence, which refers to the reason the speech needs to be given. Does it need to be given right now? Were you asked to speak in front of a city planning meeting? For the purposes of this speech and in this class, of course, it's a requirement. You have to choose a topic and give a persuasive speech. You need to do some audience analysis, which is just, looking at who's in the audience, the demographics. And for this speech, your audience are going to be other students and one instructor. Audience adaptation refers to how you modify your speech based on who is in your audience, what they're interested in, what their background is, how much prior knowledge they have about your subject. Uncertainty reduction theory, we covered this in a prior chapter, and it refers to the processes you go through to try to get to know people and reduce uncertainty. So to determine an appropriate persuasive speech topic, let me clarify between a subject and a topic. A subject is very broad. You have to look at your subject and then narrow it down to get a topic that you can cover in only 5 to 7 minutes. I have a separate video that I'd like you to watch that talks about narrowing your subject down to a good topic and how you go about doing that, going through a brainstorming session and concept mapping. So please watch that additional video. Okay, when you analyze the audience, you want to look at the demographic data. So is your audience all brand new incoming freshmen to Jefferson College, so they don't have any other college experience? Or is your audience of students primarily older adults who've been in the workforce for a while and they've come back to school in order to complete their degree? Data gathering methods, you could conduct a survey to see what your audience, what their interests are, what prior knowledge they have of your subject. You could also just observe them to see what they already know or what their, prior feelings might be. You could interview 1 or 2 of the students. And then, you could also make an educated guess based on your knowledge of other students in the class. You need to really examine the occasion. Now, again, for your assignment, it's a persuasive speech that needs to be done in, I think the assignment says 5 to 7 minutes. And the goal of your speech is to ask your audience to do something. You want to ask your audience, you want to persuade them to take an action or change their mind or change their behavior about something. So for this speech, for this occasion, for this class, you have to research. You have to do some research on your topic And you have to orally cite in your speech at least 5 credible resources. Okay, so you select a topic and then you write a speech goal statement, a specific goal statement. And I have a separate video for this as well. It's only 3 or 4 minutes long, but if you would please watch that video on how you write a specific goal statement. Okay, you need to locate and evaluate your information sources. So first, if you're going to interview anyone for your speech and use them as a resource, you need to know their credentials. So is this somebody who you met on the street, or is it somebody who has published articles or written a book about the topic? So you need to know what credentials your sources have. You can do some secondary research, meaning, go to the internet, look for journals, publications. When you look at these sources, you have to evaluate them. Are they valid? Are they valid? You can't use a blog. You can't use anything from Wikipedia. You need to be looking at journal articles, reputable news sources, those types of sources. They also have to be relatively recent. You do not want to have citations for work that is 20 years old. It has to be current. Now, you could also do some primary research, and in some cases that might be necessary. You will not need to do that for this speech. You don't have the time frame. If you're going to do primary research, it's going to take you weeks and weeks or months and months to do that. So you're going to be looking at secondary research, things that you can find online in the Jeffco library or other databases. Okay, and that is the end of part 1 for chapter 11.